Hey guys, in this video I want to show you how to make simple Facebook ads that will allow you to generate buyer leads and maybe in a follow-up video seller leads to your business on autopilot. So you'll be able to scale these up and down as your business necessitates, whether it's a slow season or a busy season. You can control that without paying the heavy, super inflated agency fees. I will show you how to create ads that look just like the ones that are on your screen right now. And they'll have name, email, phone number, and then usually another field with some complimentary info. So I'll show you exactly how to do that. If we do this correctly, you can get these leads for as low as $1. I would say on average they're probably about $5, but it really depends on the market you're in and also the price of the properties that you're advertising. So let's get started. Okay, so as we go through this, I'm going to make a few assumptions. I'm going to assume that you've done maybe a little bit of Facebook advertising, that you at least have a Facebook business page to run your ads from, and that you have an advertising account. If you don't have that and you are on Facebook anywhere, you can go up in the menu in your settings and you can open an account and it walks you right through it. I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm not going to spend any time going through that because I want to get to the meat and potatoes here. But if you look on your screen, this is the type of ad that we're going to be generating today. It is called a carousel ad, and it has a lead objective, which means the objective is when someone clicks learn more on this ad, it's going to open a form. They're going to say, oh, I want to move soon, or whatever they're going to say. And then it's going to auto-fill their information in here. And I'm going to have to blur that out, but it auto-populates it from the settings that are the information that's stored in their Facebook profile, which means unless they go and take the effort to change that because they don't want to get a phone call or an email, then that's going to be good information. So I'm going to teach you how to set this up here, and then you can control it as, like I said, as you wish. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our ad manager. And if you are on Facebook, I can show you how to navigate there. It's usually in the left-hand side here, and you click on Ad Manager. And it opens right up. And we are going to create a new campaign from scratch. So we'll hit Create Campaign. And we are going to go down to Leads. So we're going to select Leads. And now I'm going to show you not every option there is. There are so many different ways you can do this. This is just one way to do it. And I've been doing this for 15 years. I've literally spent millions of dollars. Much of that is my own, testing and tweaking and learning all about Facebook and Google and advertising online. So what I'm showing you is the method that I think is the easiest for someone to learn and get good results and also get a great value. Now it's possible for you to use a different method and get better results, but this is something that's very duplicatable, and I think you can learn it today and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So we're going to select leads. I'm going to go down here and it says optional, name your campaign, which is true. And I'm just going to say test. Now, when you name this, this is all just for your information. There's nothing that you need to worry about. This is just a good, when you name this, you just want to think of, what you're putting in the ad or who you're targeting. And then that will help you just to remember in the future. So if we have our campaign, I'm just going to say test. But for instance, the ad set, maybe we want to say, this is 20 miles outside of Montague, which is just a town that's in Michigan, not too far away. And then the ad will just leave at 1. And so we're going to do a manual lead campaign. Facebook will often offer to do things for you, and many times it's just to make you spend a bit more money. So we're just going to do a manual setup here. Okay, so we have our campaign. Special ad categories. This is a huge one. Do not miss this step. So what you see here, special ad categories, you have to say housing. Even if your ad isn't specifically about housing, but it's in that general niche, you're going to want to select that, or else you can get your account completely shut down. The rest of these options we're going to completely ignore. You don't need to know anything about these right now. And we're going to go to next, which is going to take you, if you look up here, you see this is your campaign, this is your ad set, and this is your ad. And this is just the way that things are structured within the ad account. And so we're going to go to the ad set here, which was what happened when we selected next. And we're going to scroll down. It is already set up for instant forms, which is what we want. And when you scroll down, you're going to select the page that you want to run the ads from. I'm going to choose Blue House Properties here. Dynamic creative, we're going to leave off for now because I'm going to tell you what to put in this. But this is something if you want to explore on your own. When you choose dynamic creative, it's going to allow you to put in, let's say, 5 different headlines for the ad, or 5 different descriptions, and you could test those and rotate through those. And I'm a huge fan of that, so I don't want to discourage it, but I don't want to cover it here because I don't want it to be too confusing. But I would definitely, if you're going to start doing this for your agency or for your business, I would encourage you to play with that because that will get you the best results. And I could maybe show you some reports when this is finished. Okay, so no catalog, no product set. This is where you're going to set your budget. This budget is entirely up to you. If you set the budget too high and you have a village and you're only targeting 2,000 people and you say you want to spend $100 a day, well, of course, you're not going to get good results. There needs to be a balance there with the population you're working with and with the price range you're working with. The same goes with if you have a $2 million property or a $5 million property and you know there's probably only 10 millionaires in your small town, that's not going to work either. So I would recommend just starting small. For $10 a day, you should be able to test, get a few leads, and just see how things are working, and you can start to scale that up or scale it down just depending on the results you get. If your leads are coming in at $10 each and you're like, I can't afford that, well then just scale your budget down and usually your price will drop along with that. So you can set an end date if you'd like. We're going to leave that alone. When we go down to audiences, this is the where we're going to do our main targeting is just going to be with the location. So if this one is going to be in Montague, and I would recommend that you start with a small, like 10 to 15 mile radius around your area. The more narrow you are in your criteria for your demographic, the more targeted the ad's going to be, and usually the lower your cost is going to be for your lead. So I will show you an example of that afterwards, but if you do 15 miles, you're getting all those people who are in that current area and they're like, yeah, I'm looking to move and I'm in Montague or I've been in Montague in the past. And if you get out to 100 miles or 50 miles, I think is the maximum, when you get to 50 miles, you know, you have a much broader rate. Like if you're around a big city, that's a lot of people. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to choose Montague, Michigan, which is a very random city. And you can see the default is 15 miles. So this is a great thing to just leave it at 15 miles, and I think you'll get good results with that. Now, as you'll notice on the right-hand side of the screen here, it often will say things like, this ad may get 0 leads. Completely ignore that. It wants you to choose a bigger audience and have a bigger budget so that you start spending more, but this is definitely not true. As we choose our options here, you'll notice that you don't have much to play with. Like typically when you run an ad on Facebook, you can choose all sorts of interests, and we could say how old someone is and are they likely to move, and there's all sorts of things you can play with. But because we chose that special category of housing, it really limits what we can choose in an effort to not be discriminatory. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, so for age, we're not going to be able to change this, so we'll just leave it 18 to 65. Detailed targeting. This is where you can go in and you can add some things. So detailed targeting. And since we're looking for buyer leads, we can add things like Zillow and Trulia. And you will see once you type in a couple of these, you can click suggestions and you'll see first time home buyer and mortgage calculator and all those things. So this is something that you can experiment with if you'd like. I have seen basically, the results are going to be very similar unless you find something special that I haven't, but you can play with this. You can leave these blank because Facebook is that good at knowing, like, okay, this is obviously an ad for somebody who's looking to buy a house. I know who's going to want to see this because I know all their history, right? But if you want to choose those just to get it off to a quick start and make sure that that your audience is narrowed down, then you can choose those demographics and interests. Okay, so when we come down here, we're going to go to the placements. This is, you're choosing where is it going to show up on Facebook. I have always had the best and most success by choosing manual placements and just showing my ads in the newsfeed. Now, Facebook is starting to get better, and lately I've seen some results where if you choose Advantage, it seems like it's matching my efforts on manual. And with Advantage, they're going to show your ad on all sorts of different devices, on the audience network, which is different websites, and you'll get a lot more exposure. So this is something you can test, but for our purposes, I'm going to say manual placements, and we're going to choose the Facebook and Instagram feeds. What is it saying? Is no longer Instagram shop. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in here, and we're just going to choose feeds, and that's okay. It's giving us some warnings, but that shouldn't be an issue. And we're going to go, we're not going to touch any of this other stuff. You could enter a cost per goal for your leads. Like if you said, in no way do I ever want to get beyond $4 per lead, you could enter that here, and Facebook would do its best to get there. But in my experience, you miss out on a lot of people when you try to limit Facebook and what it's good at. Okay, so then we're going to click next. And now we're at the spot where we're going to create our ad. And the trick to creating ads for buyers, and the thing that I found that performs better than anything else by far, is to find a property that was just listed that has some unique aspects to it. So for instance, maybe it's a property that has a lot of land, 2 barns, or it has a pond, or maybe it just has some ridiculous curb appeal, like it looks fantastic from the picture that you're showing. So anything that really makes it stand out, where they're like, man, I just want to look at more of that property. Like if you can find that type of property that was just listed, that's what we're going to list for our ad. Now you may be saying, I don't have any listings to work with, and that's totally fine. Totally legitimate for you to take someone's, for you to go to Zillow and copy the information from that listing and post it as an ad, and then just credit the seller at the bottom. People do this all the time. Me personally, I quick send them a text and I say, is it okay if I use this in an ad? It will help you get some extra eyeballs on your listing. They're always okay with it. So you can do that if you just want to be sure and make sure you're ethical and all that good stuff. But just know that that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to choose carousel. You can see carousel is where you have multiple images here that you can scroll through. And so that's what we're going to do, because that really stands out in the news feed and just will help you to get more clicks. And the more clicks you get, the less your cost is, etc. We're going to leave multi-advertiser up there, and we're going to go to add a card. So we're going to add image cards. So obviously you want to go out there and you want to find that property. And once you do, you want to look at the real highlights and then think about the benefits to the person. The copy that you write is going to be important here. So we're going to give them a little urgency, like this is just listed, this is going to sell fast, but you also want to write about things that are going to stand out to them. So if it has that pole barn or that 10 acres or a pond, think about that and the benefits too. So like if it is a pond, what's the benefit? You can fish with your children, right? And if it has a ton of land, you can get out, quads and roam the property, right? So you think about those things and what the benefits are, and you can add those within your ad. So I should have some homes in here, although I don't normally run too many ads from this account, but I will grab a few, and it's telling me that these images are a little small, but that's okay. Let's go in here, and I'm just going to go select. I usually do 5 images, so you can choose up to 10. So if you have 10 good images, but here's the trick here. You want to show them a few images, but you want to leave out a couple of the money images, right? So if there's a bathroom, the garage or the kitchen, or there's something you want to leave out, you just want to give them a little bit of a tease so that they want to see the rest of the property. So we're going to grab 4 images here. We'll select those, and it will automatically add those as individual cards here. You can see there's 4 cards. And then for the headline, what works very well is just listed. And I like to use a little fire emoji because I've tested and that seems to work well. And then in the additional details, you can add something about the home. So you can say 10 acres, beautiful pool. Now these don't display very much, like you can't see a whole lot of it here. So that's why I keep this so short. You can apply this to all the cards if you want. And I've done that. That works fine. This doesn't seem to make a huge difference in what your cost is going to be. The biggest things that are going to make a difference in your cost are the images that you have. But that is going to be the biggest determining factor on how much you're going to pay. That and the copy that you write for the text. I'm going to apply this to all cards, but just know that when you go through this, you can say beautiful pool. Did I spell that right? Yeah. Beautiful pool. And then for this, you can say walk to work, like think about those benefits, whatever it is. Okay, so once you have your card set up, and I would recommend doing at least 5, Okay, so we're going to ignore the placements and editing those individually. We automatically show the best performing card first. It's fine. We'll leave that checked. Now this is where you're going to go ahead and enter in your text. So I'm just going to go back here and grab one from one of these other ads that I did just to show you, and that way I don't have to type it live and make a bunch of typos and such. Okay, so we'll grab this, paste it in. We'll turn off my phone. Okay, so just listed in Montague, Michigan, 5 stars. This just makes it stand out, those stars, that it looks like somebody reviewed it or something. Beautiful 3-bed, 2-bath, wooded, 7 acres. So you just want the highlights. You don't want to do a huge, big, long blurb that you took from Zillow or anywhere else. You just want to do the highlights, because a part of this is, you're teasing them. You want to get them intrigued, but you don't want to tell them everything. So then they go, oh, but how many square feet was it? Or how much land is there? Or whatever. And they want to click the listing, and, they want to follow through with giving you their information. This is where you would put in your benefits. So if you think, stay cool in the summer, and this one is, the existing one here isn't really the best example. I guess full in-law suite is pretty good. In-law suite for the family, but you get the idea. And then after you put in a few bullets, put in the highlights here, then you always want to tell them what to do. Telling people what to do is something that's often missed, but is a huge deal, because for some reason people just do it a lot more when you tell them to do it. So click more to get all the details, pics, and to schedule a showing. And then I'm going to have to blur out this information. This is a realtor I was working with. But then always have your name. You can have your email. You can have your phone number. And then it's by law that you need to list your brokerage and either a phone number or an address along with it. But you'll put that in your ad. And then never leave this on sign up. For some reason, that's very intimidating for people, and I kind of understand now. But you're going to change that to learn more. And then this is where you're going to create your form. Your form is obviously what's going to display on your ad after somebody clicks the Learn More button. So I'm going to scroll down here, and you can see this is kind of the preview of what that looks like. And I will do a new form from scratch here so I can show you exactly how. Quick question. No. Start from scratch. Okay. All right, form name. Give this a name where you can say, when you're running ads for housing, it's usually a good idea to say, like, this is a buyer's ad, Montague. So that way you can keep them straight, because oftentimes you want to drive these leads back into different buckets for follow-up. So we're going to say more volume, and then we're going to say use the image from your ad is fine. We're just choosing the image that displays back here. And then for the headline, we are going to say enter your info to get all the deets. Basically, we just want to tell them that once they enter their info, we're going to send them all the information on this property. So after you enter your information, we'll send you a text and a link to browse the property. And that's it. That's all you need there. And then questions. What I like to do for my questions, and let's see if I can pull up, there's a good example here. Scroll down. This one has worked extremely well for me. So tell us about when you're looking to move and any of your preferences here, and then say optional. And that really disarms people, and they end up entering their information a lot more than they typically would. So we're going to say add a question, and we're going to say short answer, and then I'm going to paste that right in. And maybe I can paste this below the video if you guys want any of this copy to use, so you don't have to retype it all. But okay, so that's all you need there. And then description. This is, you just want to tell them how their info is going to be used. Say, we'll use your email and phone number to send you an email and text. So that's all you have to do. Straight to the point. Email, full name, and then we're going to go in here, category, contact fields, phone number, and then these will automatically populate with their information once they click the button. Okay, so privacy policy. Now, some of you might be saying, I don't have a website, but hopefully if you're an agent, you have an IDX feed somewhere, and usually when you have that, you have a privacy policy for that website at the bottom of the page. I know that with me, I work with KB Core. I will just show you here. Let's see. Sorry, let me grab this. Okay, so if you have a website like this is one of the gentlemen I work with. You should have a privacy policy at the bottom. He doesn't, because I believe he just updated his footer. Oh, actually, no, that's not why. It's down here. It's just kind of hidden. Let's change that. And then there's the privacy policy. So all you would do is copy this link, and then we would go back to our ads. And so we'd add the link in. And then for the link text you would just say privacy. And then we'd say message for leads, and then say thanks. Go check your phone. And then we'd say you can click the button below to see the listing. See the, let's say, rest of the listing. And none of this stuff is super important the way you phrase it. I'm just using stuff that I've done over the years and gotten accustomed to. So say view website, and then we can say view the listing, exclamation point. And then for the link, what you're going to do is go to your IDX website, whatever it is, whatever tool you're using, and you're going to select the URL for that particular house after you search for it. Okay, well, you get the idea. You're going to find the particular home itself. You're going to grab that link from that home, and then you're going to copy and paste that into there. So I'll just say for now, and that would be it. And you would say create form. So if you do this the way that I've shown you here today, you should be able to get leads as much or as little as you want, as much as you're willing to spend. They should be less than about $5 each. If they're not, it either means you're targeting really expensive properties, or you did something a little different than what I showed you here today. Now, I will tell you one tip is when you set up your lead form, if you wanted to leave out the question in the beginning or leave out the phone number and just do name and email, you can probably get leads for 75% less. Like, they will be very cheap, but they will not have much intent, because you'll get a lot of looky-loos who just want to check out the listings because they thought the home was pretty. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to learn more about any of this or how to work with me further, just shoot me a message. And I'd love to hear if you start using this, how it works for you, or what questions you have, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching this. Just leave me a comment, shoot me a message. I'd love to hear about it. But I wish you good luck, and thanks for watching.